So we've got this data here that we've been doing some analysis to, and we've got, our two variables, x1 and x2. And if we were interested in, knowing something about the outliers of this distribution, we can use these sort of box and whisker plots up at the top, okay? So the way that JMP automatically does this, if you hover over this plot, what you'll see is you've got, this maximum excluding outliers and this minimum excluding outliers. And what does JMP automatically consider an outlier when it's making these plots? Well, JMP will consider anything that's, plus or minus 1.5 times the interquartile range away from that median, okay? So it's kind of a little bit of jargon to throw at you there. But pretty much what JMP is going to consider an outlier is any of these points that are outside of this whisker, okay? So if you were interested, just in knowing the total amount of outliers, you can look and count and say, all right, well, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you hover over any of them, it'll give you that exact value for the outlier. But it doesn't tell you if these are extreme outliers or if these are what we would call mild outliers. Okay, so the way we can figure that out, JMP has another tab that will do that all for us. You could do it all by hand, but it's going to take you forever. So it's much easier to let the software do it for you. Okay, so what you can do is you can go up to Analyze. You can go to this Screening, okay, so it's the third one down, and then you go over to, Explore Outliers. And then I'm going to select both of these because I'm interested in both of them. I'm going to drag them over to this little Y columns part over here, and then click OK. And then I can pull this up to the top. So we've got this sort of outlier command prompt, okay? And we're going to use this top command prompt. So tail quantile, what that means is, what quantile are you using, and we haven't really gone over, super in depth what quantiles are. We've gone over, quartiles and percentiles. So we're just going to put in 0.25 because that is the quartile system that we're using. This is going to take the interquartile range. If you put in 0.25 here, it's going to do the interquartile range, okay? This Q here is asking you, how many times away from that interquartile range do you want to be? So if we want to first look for mild outliers, we can put in, 1.5 times that interquartile range. And then click on quantile range outliers, and it'll bring up this table here. That'll give you all that information that you're interested in. So you've got, your x1, your x2, and over here it'll tell you, the number of outliers and then the location of each of those outliers, okay? These would all be what we would consider to be, mild outliers, okay? Now, we could always have, more extreme outliers, and the way we would figure that out is we could change this Q to being 3, and that would check, for things that are 3 times away of that interquartile range from the median, okay? And then what you'll do is you'll click Rescan, and now you see you've got 2 outliers, and it gives you the location of those 2 outliers, okay?